It's 2021. Welcome to the new 21 report. I'm Tony BRUNO, and today I have with me Coach Gregadams. Coach, how you doing?
What's going on, Tony? Good to be here with you,
Yeah,
brother.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
First thing I want to ask you is, how has your experience been at 21 so far?
It's been great. You know, a new group of men, some men that I've seen before, and new speakers. So it's been great. I did 3 speeches, and I talked to 3 different audiences about 3 different things. So it's been good so far.
Okay. Who benefits from your, we'll say your Patriarch speech first?
I would say the fathers, because what I talked about is the protector. You know, the removing of the protector to allow other things to come into and influence your family, your friendships, and your children. So fathers would benefit the most, and men who are looking to be fathers, and what they can anticipate by having kids and going into society. So when they see that one, when you see that one at home, and when you got a chance to see that in the audience, it put the value back into the man, into the relationship. Instead of making him just a provider, we put the protection and the securer, and actually not allowing outside influences with your children and your family.
Okay, so Patriarch, what about the 21 convention?
21 convention was more geared to men looking to put more value in what society, I would say, is entitling themselves to: your money, energy, attention, and your time. And so people basically are entitled to this. They feel entitled to this. And men feel entitled to exchange their most important resources for very little in return. And men that don't know how to manage that and negotiate with that, they are gonna find themselves having trouble in the marketplace. Less opportunities. They'll have a scarcity mindset. And I'm trying to show men that you have true value out here. You have measurable, tangible value. You have a commitment that benefits more people other than yourself, so you gotta treat it like that.
Okay, and the 22 convention for women.
The 22 convention was great. I got a great response for the 22 convention for the women. Only 1.5 people were a little upset, but for them, it was the valuing of the protector. Understanding how we silence the protectors, but we still want them to provide, protect, and serve. How we put roles that are silent in addition to their protector roles, and why it's not beneficial to have the male not be the leader and the protector. So the audience was well received on the women's side, but you know, there's always going to be a couple feathers ruffled.
I want to dive a little deeper into that. Why do you think women take this advice as a man talking to a woman? Why did they take it, we'll say, a little harder than a man would?
Well, because they want to make men versions of themselves, of women, when they need him to be that. But then when there's an emergency, they want him to be masculine. They want him to sacrifice himself. And so as we're negotiating this power struggle between the dynamics of the genders, while we're negotiating this, they want to control the narrative and make the man, well, if you say it like this, and if you were had less bravado, maybe I would listen to you. But since you have it, then we're just going to disregard everything you say. So that's the emotional side of women, and I encourage the emotional side of women. But be there for yourselves with that. If you want men to be consumed with that, then they can't be the protector that you need them to be.
Now, there's one thing you said that was power struggle that kind of stuck out to me.
Right.
Explain that a little more.
Well, the power struggle is basically, you know, women want their voice to be heard, which they should be heard. They want a better place than they've had in the past in society, which there should be. There's a lot of women that believe that there should be more, they should have more, and but with that more, they're taking away from men in the progress. And this is what they may not be aware of, or what they may not care. So as they're taking away from men, men are becoming, you know, they're discontent about the situation. And so there's a power struggle between what's fair and what's fair to men. And so we're trying to negotiate that right now. We're trying to negotiate it with dating and romance. So, you know, men are supposed to be traditional. Men are supposed to pay for dates, and they're supposed to assert, and they're supposed to be the ones to approach. But we're also saying women should be the one to be able to lead. They should be able to have the jobs and be managers. Now, how do you negotiate that in a romantic setting? And then how do you negotiate that romantic setting in a professional setting? So there's a power dynamic that we're trying to figure out. And unfortunately, we were born in a time where we're trying to figure this out. I look at it and say, maybe we figure this out in the future, or maybe it destroys itself in the future. Right now, we're on the path of destruction. Or, maybe it reverts back to traditionalism, which I don't believe is going to happen. But we'll see.
Okay. Now, you were on 3 stages.
Yep.
Let's start with Patriarch.
Yep.
What did you learn? What did Coach Greg Adams get out of speaking?
Well, what's funny? I think, when I'm speaking, men tend to not give you a feedback. They don't give you the feedback. And so as you're talking to them, you're like, I don't know if this is resonating. On the women's side, they will give you some feedback as you're talking to them, and they will interact. They're not afraid to interact with you. So you got more feedback. But what I learned is after I got off the stage, people were appreciative of the message. They said, hey, you know what? We needed this, and we need men like you to continue to speak. So men are trying to find a way to show their appreciation for you, and it may not be vocal, but they're absorbing the message. And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about that.
And so what did you learn from speaking to the women next?
I learned that, and most people have to understand, there's a silent majority of women who really want men to be protectors, providers, securers. They want them to be alpha. They want them to be the leaders. And unfortunately, their voices aren't being heard. And they're getting caught up in the process of the loud minority pushing the agenda forward. And so we got a great appreciation for women that really want relationships. They came here to learn, and some of them are getting beat up in the middle of learning this, and some of them are getting the message that they need. So after I got done with the speech, there were a lot of women that were very receptive of the message. So I appreciated that.
Okay. And then the 21 convention.
Man, the 21 was a little bit more energetic.
Okay.
I was giving them a different message than I gave to the previous crowd. And there are some guys struggling with their value. So what I learned is, that they won't ask questions out in the open for fear that people will judge them. And men are always judged. So they won't ask questions, but in private, after I got done with the speech, they also had a lot of questions for me at the end.
Okay. Also, Coach Greg is an author.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your books. This book right here. Let's start with that.
Got the Free Agent Lifestyle, which this is the cheat code. This is the cheat code for men going forward and giving them a strategy. There's different strategies that you can use in dating, romance, life. And I think this encompasses just not dating, marriage, romance. It encompasses life. And it basically puts you on a path of self-discovery before you can offer anything of value to women. This isn't a book to segregate yourself from women. This isn't a book that says forget women for life and live this lifestyle. This is a lifestyle that you have the resources to benefit from, have more fun. And then once you do it, people, not just women, people will see value in you. And then you can determine what your contract is as a free agent. You can increase your value, and then you're basically going to deal with less low value people and win at life.
Okay. And you have other books.
I have other books, yes. De-Evolution is a book about feminism. It's my interpretation of radical feminism, how it has now infected the culture with the lower marriage rates, the higher divorce rates, the declining birth rates. It's basically going to talk about, if we continue this path, where we're going to go. And probably not going to go anywhere successful as a country. It's going to lead into more socialism. I don't get too much into the socialism or communism idea, but the things that they promote, the marketing strategy that they're promoting, is socialist, communist based. And so if we are going to continue this and we don't have men step up, this is where we're going to end.
Okay. Now, you live the free agent lifestyle.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's it. Yep.
Okay.
I got to live it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to me, a speaker and a person like yourself, I think congruency with your message is so important. How important is that to you?
Well, people are going to look at you and say, well, he got married to a lower value woman, or I see him with lower value women. I see him messing around and hanging out at bars and picking up women. Well, then they're going to look at it and say, didn't you say? And people are going to hold you accountable to your message. So there's different stages of this. There's stages where you have to go off to yourself and not date. And that's good. That's going to be great for you. But then again, this book is inclusive of people who do want to date at some point, even almost to the point where you do want to marry. Although I do caution you in these stages of that decision making. So, you know, you might see me with a girl at some particular point. You might see me with a bimbo or something like that. But at the same time, doesn't mean I'm not living that lifestyle. This book is inclusive of that. And it never says you're not supposed to do that.
Okay. What I want you to do now is talk to the women out there. Give them a message from Coach Greg.
Yeah, ladies, what I would tell you is, first of all, I love you. Because most of the time, they think this message is to separate or to not like them. I love women. I love the value that they bring to men, as long as it's a tangible, equal, measurable value. But what I would say is, if you're in the silent majority, as I call you, be a little more vocal. We hear enough from the blue-haired, overweight women of the world. We can hear less from them and more from you. I know, although, you know, what I always tell women is that you get penalized from feminism probably as harder than we do. They tell you don't make these choices in your life, and then they push you into careers which you didn't want. You wanted to get married and settle down and have family. So they get penalized. You get penalized for being conservative. You get penalized for being in shape. You get penalized for, you know, towing the line of the social construct. So yeah, you don't get to be on Cosmopolitan magazine if you're under 150 pounds. So what I would say is, don't let them bully you. Be a little bit like myself and throw it back into their face and challenge them on the things that you know to be true. These ideas and constructs that you know are false are costing you families, opportunities, and they're costing you relationships with good men, because the toxic women, the loud minority, are affecting the entire culture.
Okay. And let's do a quick message to men of all ages.
Yeah. Men of all ages, know your value. Know your value. Money, energy, attention, and time, and your commitment. Know the value of your commitment. The value of your commitment is more important, or just as important, as hers. The reality of you taking yourself off the marketplace to focus on one woman is not what you're naturally designed to do. So it holds value, and understand that value and not be so impatient to give it away for someone who doesn't deserve it.
Now, Coach Greg, we appreciate you coming here to 21.
Yeah,
you know that.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I'll be back again, man.
Yes,
I'll be back again.
Yes, you
Yeah,
will,
man.
and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
But how can everybody find you?
Find me on everywhere. YouTube, Coach Greg Adams is the channel. I have 7 channels on there, so you shouldn't have a problem finding me there. Find me on Instagram if they don't delete me. Coach Greg Adams TV. I was on TikTok at one point, but anywhere Coach Greg Adams, you can find me.
Excellent. Coach,
Thank
we
you, man.
appreciate you,
Thank you.
and thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Okay.
Tony. Yep. Thank you.